welcome to the Lockdown Lowdown. I'm Dev Sani, and joining me today is a man who needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyway. He is the WBC World Heavyweight Champion, he's the lineal World Champion, and he's the People's Champion. It's Tyson Fury. How you doing, mate?
That's a hell of a build-up.
Not bad.
Thank you very much. I'm doing well. Staying active, staying busy, keeping fit.
It's just gone 6 o'clock now. So, how many more workouts have you got left today? Because I know you're on it.
Yeah, I'm actually finished for the day now. I've cut my workouts down this week from 4 times a day to 3 times a day, and I get done by around about 4:30 now. So yeah, usually I'll have one more session later on, but with no fight coming up, I was starting to feel a little bit drained at the end of last week. Yeah. So I thought I'm going to cut an extra session off and just take me time with it. As I've got no fights, I'm training like I'm in an absolute Spartan training camp. And I'm thinking to myself, what am I doing? I'm getting a bit carried away. Because you get in the routine, you get the bug, you get addictive. And I just can't stop training, but I have just cut it back a little bit now. And I think it will all be all right.
Yeah, because I remember seeing last week, it was something like, it was 12 o'clock, it was like midday, and you put out a video, it was like, workout number 3, done. I was like, whoa, 3. So tell me, look, the pressing question, right? The question that everyone wants to know, have you managed to get the Diet Coke out of the car carpet?
I have, because the car carpet, it's one of those Defenders, Land Rover Defenders, so it's got a rubber floor, so it didn't really matter that the kid spilt it, but I was teaching him a lesson that no matter what he does, he thought it was a really bad thing that he'd done. And he owned up to it and he told the truth. And he knows that if he tells me the truth about anything he does that's naughty, he will not get in trouble. But if he lies to me, then he'll get in trouble. And no matter what he does now, as long as he admits it and owns up to it and is sorry for it, then he doesn't get in any trouble for it at all. But if he lies to me, he'll get in trouble.
Wow. Was that something instilled in you? Did John say, Tyson, don't lie to me kind of thing?
Listen, if you'd lied to me, Dad, he'd take your lips off. So you'd be feeling the back of me dad's hand right up the ear-hole. Good talk! Not something that we would do, but if we'd done something really bad, we'd never admit to it. We'd just have to take a smacking, and that would be it. But I don't want my kids to grow up like that. I want them to be able to come to me when they've done something or when they need something. And especially at a young age, if they know that they can come to Dad, no matter what they've done, and I'll help them, or I will not smack them or not shout at them when they're telling the truth, you know. And I want them, even though it's petty things like spilling pop or messing the front room up or breaking a window or anything, I want them to know that now if they tell the truth, they're always going to come better off than lying.
Yeah, good. It was quite a heartwarming moment, and it got quite widely shared on social media. And speaking of that, there was another one today. You were doing your Instagram live 9 o'clock every day, and at the end of your workout, you go live with a fan, which is brilliant, by the way. And there was a lady who came on, and she said, because of you and your workouts, she hasn't touched a drop of drink in like 10 weeks. That's amazing.
It's an amazing thing, you know, and that lady, sometimes I get up in the morning and I don't feel like doing these workouts. I'm stiff, I'm tired, I'm sore from the day before. And then I realise that I ain't just doing them for my own well-being. I know there's people out there who are relying on me to get up and do these workouts because it gives them that bit of inspiration in their life that they need at this moment. And I often thought about, that's enough now. I've done like 10, 12 weeks of these workouts every day. And I think, you know what, I'm going to continue because people out there who desperately need the help. And just like that lady there today, she's not touched a drink in 10 weeks and she said it's down to the workout and a bit of training she do in the morning times. She feels confident. She didn't get confident before. She had no confidence. And I was just sitting there, this is amazing. You know, the fact that I'm just doing my workouts and I know they're helping people, but you never really know until you get feedback like that, which I have been getting quite a lot of actually. And you don't really know how you're helping people until they tell you like that. And it was actually quite upsetting. The fact that she is using my workouts to wean her off the alcohol drink or whatever, and she hasn't had a drink for 10 weeks, and she looked well and she looked healthy. So I was very, very proud of her. proud of me for keep doing the interview, the workouts in the morning. Fantastic stuff, and it was very inspirational.
Yeah.
Keep going on.
It's more than just like, it's obviously like Joe Wicks, there's a few others doing their workouts. Yours feels more like it's not just a workout, it's like an arm around the shoulder to help people.
Yeah, Joe's done a fantastic job with his workouts. He's been doing fancy dress, he's been doing lots of stuff, lots of streams and that, but he's very professional. And is everything set up properly? With me, it's typical old Tyson Fury, isn't it? I've got an iPhone 7 at the screen smash to record it on, and I'm going live, and the dogs are coming in, the kids are coming in, me and Paris are arguing on camera. There's no rehearsing, there's no professionalism, just real. And I think that normal people can relate to real more than a professional camera in the corner and no one in the room and a special gym room. I'm doing it in my living room in my house, and I've got the full family running it now. Shout in session. It's hilarious, It's like a live TV show every morning. Gogglebox.
Yeah.
I've never been one for real professionalism in what I do, and obviously I take it like. As for I can train outside in the bush, it doesn't really affect me. And it's the same with the workouts. It almost seems to be like it's all happy, all just off the cuff stuff.
Yeah, it's good. It's why we love it, Tyson. Today, the date is June the 9th, 2020. Exactly 2 years ago today, you made your return, Manchester Arena, Sefer Seferi, he's back, the big poster. Have you had a moment to kind of reflect on that at all?
No, I haven't, to be honest. I've seen a couple of videos, a couple of Frank posts from the Queen's like.
Tell me, what are your memories? I know you don't like to look back so much and it's all about tomorrow, but because this is such a kind of important day, a 2-year kind of landmark of your comeback, what are your memories of that fight?
I remember being all excited. It was at the MEN Arena, first time I've ever boxed in Manchester at the arena after a long, long career. And it was he's back. The world was watching to see what Tyson Fury still had left, if he was going to be capable of winning a world championship again. And it was one of them moments where it was all fun and games again. Typical Tyson Fury banter, typical Tyson Fury press conference, weigh-in fight. It was just fun to me, and for the first time in a long time, I was so happy with what I was doing. And it was like I'd been a caged tiger back released in the wild, and I knew it was where I was supposed to be. I knew it was my destiny and journey to get back to where I needed to be, back to being the champion again.
And now here you are today, 2-time world heavyweight champion. And also there's remarks out there from Frank Warren saying if any fighter, any athlete, anyone actually deserves $1 trillion deal, it's Tyson Fury. That must sound good, huh?
Yeah, it sounds good. And if there's any promoter out there who can make it happen, then the magic man is him who can do it. Frank brought me back from the absolute depths, and he told me what he was going to do, and he delivered. So, for that, he's got to be a magician. So we work well together, and I believe that Frank and all the people who are around me and involved with me, MTK and Top Rank, between them all, I'm sure that they can get me $1 trillion deal. Why not?
Lend us a tenner.
Make me happy, because it won't. And I know for a true fact that no matter what money you earn, it'll never make you happy, because money or material assets don't make an individual happy. Happiness comes from within, and happiness is found within your own self. You've got to find peace for yourself, and you've got to find true happiness from deep down within you, for who you are. You've got to be comfortable in your own skin. You've got to be comfortable in your surroundings and who you're with. For a long time, I was one of those guys. I was out of shape. I was fit. I could fight for 12 rounds. I never looked great. I still don't today. But I was always cautious about it. I was always embarrassed to take my top off in the summer. Although I fight in front of millions of people, I was still embarrassed of how I looked. And during the comeback, I was like, you know what? I'm comfortable with who I am. I'm not soul searching for a six-pack anymore. And I'm just going to give up on it all. I'm just going to be a strong bull type heavyweight, strong as a bull, fit as a fiddle, wise as an owl, and I'm comfortable with who I am. And I've gone in there bald and fat, chubby and hairy, and I've knocked out Adonises after Adonises after Adonises. So I found true happiness within my own skin, and that's my message for people out there. You know, people who are chubby, people who are a bit overweight or whatever. You're never going to be completely ripped because it's a lifestyle change, and in order to get in that shape, you've got to completely turn your life around 360 degree and go in opposite direction as you was before. There is no quick fix. I'm saying today to somebody, you can go on a diet, the keto diet. I can go on a keto diet today and lose 2 stone, but as soon as I come back off it again, I'm going to put it back on again as soon as I go back to the real world. So it's genetics. You're either built fat or you're not. And it's a mental imbalance in the brain as well, I think. If you've got that mentality where, I'm going to lose a bit of weight and I'm going to put it back on again, I'm going to eat what I started doing in the beginning, I think you've just got to find true happiness within who you are, feel comfortable in your own skin, know that everybody's built differently, and just enjoy your health and your happiness while you've got it. Because I used to worry about things that hadn't happened or wasn't even likely to happen.
Yeah.
And put pressure on myself for stuff that wasn't even in reality. I was just thinking about it. But now, I'm so happy with who I am. I'm not embarrassed to take my top off in public. I don't want to be completely ripped. I'm happy with who I am. I'm happy being the chubby bald guy with hairs on him.
Well, that's it, yeah. I think, look, that's obviously part of what makes you so relatable, and it's wonderful to see how happy you are. Even if you have got the cap on back to front, you're covering up the bald head today. Here it is. There he is. My God.
I've actually had an offer from the leading hair transplant people in the world in London, Harley Street, to give me a full head of hair back. And I've had to politely decline.
Yeah.
Because, I've had that. That's the old me. Tyson Fury used to have masses of curly hair, black mopping stallion hair. And that me's gone. I've overcome that. I'm finished. I'm not 17 anymore. I'm not 21. I've gone bald because it's in my genes, and it's what happens to some men go bald, some don't. But I feel like if I put a full head of hair back on, I'm trying to reverse time, and I never want to go back in time because I'm happy with where I am, and I just want to keep moving forward. So me and Paris made a joint decision to politely decline about the hair. So yeah, I could have had a full mop of hair, but I actually like who I am. This is me. Yeah. This is Tyson Fury, the Gypsy King, the bald-headed guy. And I actually have grew to love it.
Yeah, well, I almost feel like that's a bit cheeky of them to reach out, to look at you and go, do you know what he could do with some hair? I bet he wants some hair. Tyson Fury doesn't want hair.
Not all bald men are unhappy.
Exactly. You were talking about how this bald guy, this fat guy, that's you calling it, not me, is going around bashing up Adonises. Now, one of those Adonises is Deontay Wilder. You should be having the 3rd fight with him. It seems to be there's a new rumour every day as to where that fight's going to be. The latest rumour is Australia on Christmas Day. Have you heard anything about that?
Yeah, I believe I've had a couple of phone calls from friends. Are we going to Australia? I was like, what are you on about? And they said, it's in all the papers that you're going to be fighting in Australia. I was like, I've not seen it, but I'm going to have a look now. So I had a look. It was in a few papers, whatever. I think Bob may have said something about fighting in Australia on Christmas Day. But at the end of the day, Christmas Day is a very festive religious time for me. And I've got kids, so I wouldn't, listen, careers and sports things aside, family comes first. So as for to go away on Christmas Day to earn a living, there's 365 days in a year, any other day but that. And it's a time off. I don't think I'd be really interested in boxing on Christmas Day, to be honest. I don't need the money that much, and there's plenty of other time for boxing. Yeah, fair.
I mean, I'm actually quite glad to hear that. I was like, I was telling my wife, I'll probably have to do some stuff on Christmas Day now, but no, thankfully not.
I have to train right through Christmas and all that, so it wouldn't really be for me, to be honest, Christmas Day. Before it, like November, December, running up to it, even on like the 20th or something like that, I'd still do it. But not Christmas Day, it's too far. And I think it'd cause me a divorce as well.
Yeah, I'm sure it would. Now tell me, you put out a post on your Instagram the other day. It was Deontay Wilder, mid-falling down, kind of like that. with Timber. Why did you do that?
Because he kept shouting it to me in press conferences and stuff. And I think he truly did believe he was going to make me go Timber again. But I actually told him time and time again, but he wouldn't believe it. He thought I was bluffing. But I wasn't, obviously. And yeah, I thought it was very fitting. Someone sent me that photograph and I thought it was an amazing photo of Wilder on his way down. So I just put the Timber to it. It took off from there. Got a lot of reposts and likes and stuff.
With Wilder, you seem to before you actually clashed. You seem to have quite a good relationship, and you talked about how it was messages from him that made you come back, and you thought, I'm gonna come back and get him, and he almost seemed to be coaching you back during that time.
Well, I wouldn't say coaching, but the only thing he didn't message me personally to my phone. He said something like in an interview, like, "Oh, see Tyson Fury the other day on video, and he's a fat pig. He's never coming back. Yada yada yada. Good riddance to him. Whatever." And that gave me the inspiration to come back. And he also said, "Oh, he could knock Mike Tyson out and around and stuff like that." So I thought, if there's ever going to be someone to come back and beat him, it'd be me. And at the time, it was the old Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua saga. The fight was never getting made. There was rumours of 80 million quid in the escrow account and all stuff like this. And I thought, you know what, I have to come back and defend my country from because the American fighters were going, "Oh, the British guys, they're all cowards, they're all chickens." And it was like, well, I've been out in retirement for 3 years, but you know what? I'm going to lose some, I'm going to come back and I'm going to beat you some. And that's exactly what happened. There's all this talk of me versus Anthony Joshua, but as I'm a realist in this life, heavyweight boxing and messing with the most vicious puncher in history of boxing, I'm not going to overlook anybody. And Deontay Wilder is the most dangerous fight for me out there, even today. Even after I beat him, he's still the most dangerous fighter, because when a fighter gets beat, they can either go one or two ways. They can come back 10 times stronger and have a lot more to prove, or they can fold. And I believe with Deontay, and the way he carries himself and the way he believes in himself, I believe he'll come back stronger, and I believe he'll come back with a better game plan, and he'll try harder, he'll try and do things differently. I'm not saying he can, but I'm just thinking he'll give it a better try, which makes him more dangerous. And it makes me, if I don't focus 110% like I did last time, then there won't be any other fights. And I'll just be carried out the ring on a stretcher by Deontay Wilder, and it'll be him writing pictures of me saying Timber.
You've been pretty clear, I think you've said that a couple of times, that Deontay Wilder is still the most dangerous fight out there for you.
Deontay Wilder's the second best heavyweight in the world. I believe he knocks Anthony Joshua out and everybody else behind me. Everybody else who's out there, I think he knocks them out because, me being a master boxer, people think, oh, if you just go forward on Deontay Wilder now, you knock him out. But the fact of the matter is, if they watch the tape, I wasn't just going forward. I was using feints, I was using a calculated jab, I was going up and down stairs, hitting the body, hitting the head. I was feinting first, getting shots off. I was also using a double feint with the front foot, using the front legs as levers to jump in and land big shots on him. And it's not so easy to do. And also, Deontay Wilder landed some big punches on me during the fight. Punches which would have took a lot of guys out. But with me being heavy and a giant and fully hydrated and fully fit and fully active, I didn't feel them the same as I did in the first fight.
Now, as fans, we've got to look at the super fight of Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. Frank Warren has said this a number of times. He said he believes that Joshua's team do not want the fight with Tyson Fury. Not Anthony Joshua himself, but the people around him. What do you think to that?
I'm not sure, Frank knows more about promoters and about the Hearns than I do. Quite frankly, I don't know anything about them. I know that they do matchroom boxing and snooker and darts, whatever. That's it. That's all I know. But yeah, I think Frank will have a bit more of an understanding because he's been in the game a long time, and I think he's knew the family for a long, long time. So he'll know more about it. But if you put 2 and 2 together, you don't need to make 36 of it. You can make what it actually is, 4. And the fact of the matter is, if you take Anthony Joshua out of matchroom, their matchroom doesn't really have a great deal of anything. I know they have some other fighters and all that, but the actual cash dog who's going to make the money on the pay-per-views and that is Joshua for them. Mm-hmm. So you take that away, and there's not much left. There's some good guys, good prospects, and good champions, but not that's pay-per-view stars or sellable on pay-per-view even. So it's a difficult thing for them, and if he gets beat, which they know he will, then it almost puts an end to their big-time promoting. I know they've got other world champions and whatever, but I'm saying actual pay-per-view stars. Who have they got?
Yeah, I think that's where Frank's coming from.
That's where Frank's coming from, but it actually goes on both feet as well, doesn't it? It actually works for Frank as well, because if I get dusted by AJ, then what pay-per-view stars does Frank have? So it works both ways, really. But the fact of the matter is we're a bit more braver than them, and we know we can win. That's why we're willing to step up to the plate anytime and do it.
I mean, Frank's backing you big time. This was an interview he did with Sky Sports the other week, and he said Tyson Fury has the better jab, he has the faster hands, and he hits harder than Anthony Joshua. Now, it's the last part of that which really caused a bit of a debate online, and people were like, "What? Fury hits harder than Joshua? No way! Look at the knockouts." How much of Frank's statement do you agree with?
I agree with it. How many knockouts has Joshua got?
I think there's a couple. Parker went the distance. Ruiz knocked him out. So everyone bar 2.
Maybe he's got like 20 knockouts out of 22 wins or something, yeah? So I've actually got 21 knockouts on my record. The thing is I turned pro at 19 years old as a child. And I was boxing men. He never turned pro until he was like mid-20s, when he was a full set man. And he already had a lot of fights. So I was learning as a young kid, coming up in the game. And I learned the trade as a youngster coming through. Where if I'd have turned pro at 25, 26... then I'd have knocked all the people out that went the distance with me when I was a young boy, rather than learning the trade with them. So the actual fact of the matter is I've never really been a stand still man and land big shots because I'm a slick boxer. But as we've seen, I've just knocked out the heaviest puncher in boxing history. And Andy Ruiz is not a big puncher, but he knocked out Anthony Joshua. So yeah, I'd say I am a harder puncher than him, and there's people who have sparred both of us, and quite a few people have said it as well. I'm a bigger puncher, but it's not about who can punch hardest. It's about the skill that goes behind it. I'm sure George Foreman punched harder than Muhammad Ali, but Muhammad Ali stopped George Foreman. So there's a lot of similarities in those fights. And Ernie Shavers punched harder than Larry Holmes, but Larry Holmes beat him twice. It's not about who punches the hardest or who can lift the most weights. It's about who can win in the fight. And the fact of the matter is, I am still unbeaten in a 12-year professional career after 31 fights. And he got beat in his early 20 fights. So yeah, I'm the only one who's still undefeated now in the boxing game at this level. And I'm a force to be reckoned with, because I'm an absolute bald fat destroyer.
And we've seen that in action. Tell me this, if this unification happens next year, I know it's no foregone conclusion. You've got to get through Wilder, he's got to get through Pulev, but there is a situation there with the WBC belt and Dillian Whyte. I want to ask you this. If Maurizio Sulaiman comes to you, and I know, by the way, that unification trumps mandatories, I know that, but if Maurizio Sulaiman comes to you and says, Tyson, we want to make you the franchise champion, we're going to give that world title that you've got, we're going to give it to Dillian Whyte, he's been waiting so long, we're going to make you the franchise champion, what would you think to that?
What is the franchise champion? What does that mean?
It's like a kind of status. So Canelo is the franchise champion at middleweight. Lomachenko's got a franchise title. It means you don't have to fight mandatories. It's a kind of a new thing, but I'm not sure there's a franchise belt, and I don't think you'd still be the WBC world champion.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm about fighting the biggest fights out there. And Wilder, Joshua is the biggest fights out there. See, Dillian Whyte's looking for a payday against me. Pulev's looking for a payday. All these like challengers and mandatories and that, they're like unknown. They're not sales. They're not sellable, especially in America. They're not sellable. So I'm looking to do big fights, big colossal fights. The last few fights I've got left, whether I've got 10 fights left or 3 or 2, might even have 1. I might get knocked out in the next fight, who knows? But I want them to be the biggest possible fight. So whoever's the biggest possible fights at that time is who will get the fights. And it won't be a belt or an organisation or anybody dictating to Tyson Fury, because let's face it, nobody's ever dictated to the champ. Nobody's ever dictated to me who I'm going to fight and who I'm not going to fight. And these low-profile fighters, they don't mean anything to me. I'm after the biggest, best fights that are available. So whatever it takes to do that, then I'll do it. I'm a proud WBC champion, but at the end of the day, I'm the lineal heavyweight champion of the world, which trumps everything. Nothing matters, only the lineal championship to me. As I've stated many, many times, I've completed boxing now. I've gone from the English champion and every belt else along the way. I've won all of them. I've got them here to prove it. The belts, really, aside, are just pieces of leather with some fancy metal stuff on them. And they don't really mean a lot. They mean a lot to an unknown champion who nobody knows. They can say, I'm a world champion. Mm-hmm. But when you've been ruling the game like I have for so long, and you beat all the challengers and you beat all the top men he wasn't supposed to beat, you can have a belt that says dog shit on it if you want. It's still
on Dillian Whyte, who is the WBC mandatory, there doesn't seem to be a day that goes by without him saying something new. And normally about you, he'll say, Tyson Fury's running from me, Tyson Fury stole my mandatory position, I bashed up Tyson...
I make it correct. I stole his mandatory position. Of course I did. Because I'm sellable, I'm undefeated, and I'm the lineal champion, and people know they can make a ton of money out of me. Where Dillian Whyte, he's a one-hit wonder, and he got knocked out by AJ already. And there's not much money to be made there. At the end of the day, it's prize fighting. It's about making money. These promoters and things, they want to make as much money as possible, promoting the biggest fights possible. So Dillian Whyte versus Joe Bloggs Jr. isn't really a big fight, but the Gypsy King versus anybody is a big fight, as we've seen time and time again. That's it. But the answer to Dillian Whyte is wait in the queue, mush, and whenever your time comes, it'll come, and that's it. And I'm not really interested in you at all. I'm interested in the biggest money fights possible. I've got 5 kids to feed, house bills to pay, and it's all about the biggest fights. And at the end of the day, I'm after that $1 trillion paycheck. And I'm sure it's going to come from Dillian Whyte, that's for sure. So if you need any more, I don't know what more I can say to anybody. I'm actually contracted. I couldn't fight Dillian Whyte today if I wanted to anyway. Yeah. Because I've got a Deontay Wilder fight, and then I want to become the undisputed champion. I want to fight Anthony Joshua next after that. And then I want to beat him again. I'll fight him twice. Yeah, and then that whoever's next, maybe it'd be Dillian Whyte then. But if Dillian Whyte thinks he's going to call me a few names on social media and do an interview, I'm going to get my blood boiled and think, let's fight Dillian Whyte, turn down a $100 million paycheck to prove I'm not scared of Dillian Whyte. Then I think he's got a little bit long of a wait. I don't fear no man. I fought them all. I fought the most vicious punchers in the history of boxing in their own countries. So I'm sure I don't fear a stocky plodder who comes forward with no power. That's for sure. So when the time does come, I'll put him in his place. But until then, I think he has plenty more to worry about with the likes of Daniel Dubois, Joe Joyce, perfecting who he's fighting next, and whoever else, and just leave the people with all the big money to me, mush. That's all I can say.
Well, once you get these guys out of the way, I know you've spoken recently about how actually now you're going to carry on. You're sort of going to go through the contenders. Once you got Wilder out of the way, Joshua's out of the way, Whyte's out of the way, that smoke clears, the dust settles. Who do you see as your next super fight?
There's plenty more fighters coming up. There's Wilder next, Joshua, Dillian Whyte, Joe Joyce, Daniel Dubois, there's Michael Hunter, there's Alexander Usyk, there's Alexander Povetkin, there's Kubrat Pulev, there's even Derek Chisora's in that mix still. If Dillian Whyte's there for a world title, and so should Del Boy, because it was a great fight between them two, about even 50-50. I don't think either one's much better than the other, to be honest. You see how that fight went twice. Beat Chisora when I was a child, and I beat him again years later when they thought he was the killer, but he wasn't. There's plenty of challenges out there.
A couple more questions before I let you go, Tyson. You mentioned it there about Derek Chisora, how you beat him when you were a kid. Do you feel you're starting to get the credit, or you're still not getting the credit on some of your wins? Because suddenly Wilder was never good in the first place. Suddenly Chisora's better at 36 than he was at 30. And suddenly, Klitschko had an off night against you, but was at his best against Joshua.
I can't be given any more. The richest sporting combat athlete in the world by Forbes. If that means anything. Ranked number 1 by Ring Magazine. Lineal champion, WBC champion, won every belt and honour and title there is to win. Still undefeated. I got all the real people in the world, all the general public and all the normal day-to-day people behind me, the people that matter, the real people of the world, my type of people, all the alcoholics and drug addicts and depressed and depressed people. I got all them fat in me corners, all the criminals and all the people who think they can't go on anymore, and all them people, they're the people that I fight for. They're the people that back me, and they're the people that give the Gypsy King the credit.
Well, the Tyson Fury life story I know is going to be incredible, and you've said before how you've there's been a few calls with Netflix. There's something in the pipeline. I need to know, Tyson, have you reached out officially to Denzel Washington for the role?
I haven't at the moment, because I'm going to finish my career before I do a movie about the Tyson Fury life. We have had offers for the rights to the Tyson Fury movie from some of the biggest TV companies in the world. So yeah, it's in the pipeline, but I'm not willing to do it right now because I've still got more important things to think about in this part of my career, i.e. beating up all the leftover contenders and champions that are left.
All right. Well, look, thanks for talking to me today. Is there anything you want to add, Tyson, before we let you go?
Stay safe. That's all I can say. Stay out of trouble and be good.